I'm Marcus Gillizo. Welcome to Screen Hub TV. We're broadcasting to you direct from SPAA Fringe 2007 at the Chevelle Cinema in Sydney, Australia, and straight out of the Metro Screen Studios below. Screen Hub TV draws from the highly popular and trusted Screen Hub website to create the television show for those that make television and films, commercials, games, animation and online content, and just about anything that fits on the big screen or the small. Our next guest has been involved in the production of films such as The Matrix Shrek, The Matrix Reloaded and Happy Feet. As the CG supervisor at powerhouse visual effects facility Animal Logic, he's seen it all. Please welcome to the studio, Ben Gunsberger. Ben, how are you? Thank you for coming on to Screen Hub TV. So, Ben, tell me about working in visual effects with powerhouse Animal Logic.
I've been with the company since, well, sort of on and off since '96. I was there for the late '90s and then went overseas for a couple of years and came back to work on Happy Feet. So sort of seen the changes for the company. When I started there were about 30 people, and then at the peak of Happy Feet we got up to over 500, and now we're sort of in between now. So it's definitely gone through a lot of changes, and you know, the kind of work we're doing has really expanded from just sort of commercials in the early days through to obviously Happy Feet and things like that.
I mean, between '96 and now, I mean, you know, we know with Moore's Law, computer power and storage and everything sort of doubles and halves in price. And I mean, presumably between then and now, it must be a very different sort of business at the craft end of things and the sort of pointy end of technology.
It is and it isn't. I mean, I think we're always still striving to do the best work that we can. It always seems like we're waiting as long as we always did, that things take as long as they always do. It's just you're able to do that much more, but then what you're trying to do...
pushing it more.
Exactly. So it never seems to get any quicker. You always seem to be sitting at a screen waiting for something to happen.
Lots of cups of coffee waiting for the renders.
Exactly, yeah. We've got sort of espresso machines all over the place just to keep everyone going. But
And Animal Logic is obviously world-renowned. A couple of Academy Awards, I'd imagine, by now for some of the bigger projects. For animals, where do they go as a company on the world landscape up against the really big Hollywood heavy hitters?
I think we're sort of heading in a couple of directions. I mean, we're still really heavily involved with the local market with commercials and smaller films and that side of things, and also with visual effects for bigger projects. But sort of the new thing that's emerging for the company, particularly after Happy Feet, is starting to do our own work and sort of develop our own projects.
Oh wow, so you're actually getting into the production business as well?
To a certain extent, trying to have a bit more creative control on sort of the next animated projects that we do, and even films like 300 that are kind of not really visual effects, not really animated films, but things that are in between where we can bring some kind of creative input as well, rather than just doing shots,
Would there be an incentive for an Animal Logic with the new producers offset at 40% to actually get involved with projects at a financial level as well?
I think potentially. I think we're not quite at that stage yet.
So it's my job to go in and talk the boys up there upstairs into it.
Definitely. I mean, that's we're committed to doing work here, and definitely all those kind of things help the work that we can do. It is an expensive industry, obviously, so every little bit helps for sure.
And in terms of getting into this business, obviously the cost of this sort of technology, you can now buy 3D Studio Max for a couple of grand. Software like Shake was 50 grand, now it's sort of $5,000, I think. Do you draw from people who've started out at home, got their computer science degree like yourself, and then sort of find them and bring them in, or how would you get into Animal Logic?
It varies. I mean, we definitely have people who maybe did something on their own at home that shows some amazing talent, through to people who've done courses or worked at other companies or worked on big productions. So there's a really large number of ways of getting into it. I think it's still one of the areas, particularly in the film industry, that doesn't have such a defined path yet, which is quite nice because it means you end up with a company with, we've got people who were sculptors, all sorts of backgrounds, from sort of technical to fine arts and everything in between.
Fantastic. And on a technological level, what's whiz bang? What's going to blow us away in the next 12 months?
I think the things that are really making huge strides are sort of natural phenomena, and that's a lot of what we're doing. Things like water, trees, fire, all the things that
Well, really
historically
hard to
have been
achieve, yeah.
hard. Yeah, you know, I mean, people have been doing, you know, metals and plastics for a long time, and we've got all that kind of sorted out. But to make nature look real is still really difficult. And I think the next few years there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out that's really going to show that off.
Do you think in Australia there's the opportunity for, I mean, we've got Rising Sun Pictures and Fuel and a couple of other smaller companies. Do you think Australia could become like a sort of visual effects powerhouse for the Asia Pacific region when we've got heavy competition from India and China?
It's starting to get that way. I mean, after Happy Feet, you know, we had to let go a lot of people because there wasn't so much work, and a lot of them got work locally. A lot of people are at Rising Sun or at Fuel, and now that we've got the next project coming up, we're calling them back. So, you know, the fact that we can start retaining talent goes a long way to being able to do that, rather than having to draw in every time there's a big project. And you know, I think 3 of the projects we're working on at the moment, we're sharing work with Rising Sun. So there's definitely starting to get more of a collaboration, more of the local industry working together. It's not so much that we're fighting over the small bits of work that are out there anymore.
Now, the favourite project that you've worked on, I mean, these are of course household name films, you know, The Matrix and Shrek and so forth and Happy Feet. What was your favourite one to work on?
It's hard to pick a favourite. I mean, I think each project I've worked on sort of was great at that time. You know, Matrix for you know, someone geek in their early 20s, you know, working on a film like that was amazing, through to, you know, Happy Feet now, you know, working on a project of that size and that scope with someone like George Miller, you know, was a great experience as well. So it's kind of hard to sort of pick one over the other. You know, I've been really lucky to work on, you know, projects that have, you know, turned into, you know, these amazing things that people remember, which, you know, doesn't happen all that often.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for coming in, Ben.
Thank you.
Screen Hub TV. Good one.